One of my favourite days of the year because it is Chardonnay Day. And I had to, I couldn't let the show go without, paying homage to my favourite grape. And I use the word homage as well. My special guest in the studio, and it's great to have her here, good friend, and she knows the stuff, let me tell you. Mary Blair, who is the wine writer for Cuisine Magazine. Hello, Mary.
Hello, how are you? Happy Chardonnay Day.
Thank you. Do you know, I love you even more because Mary has brought me a little present. From
I come bearing wine, as always.
Oh, look at us. Let's tell us a little bit. Okay, now first. No, okay, so this is called Dark Horse. It's so me.
Yeah, it is so you. It's Dark Horse, and it's also a Californian Chardonnay, which I know you love because you're old school. You like them. You like them buttery and big and buttery.
And my wines.
Yeah, exactly. And your wine as well.
And then the little blurb I had, of course, I researched this. You already know this, but these buttery kind of bold ones date back to what? Kind of the 90s in New Zealand?
Yeah, 80s and 90s. I think Chardonnay's been on a bit of a journey, as we all have. It's sort of that 80s, 90s Chardonnay, that sort of was a slight petrol colour, but they were really big and really buttery. And there was sort of a bit of a backlash for that and in the 90s. And that's when Sauvignon Blanc started to overtake, in New Zealand certainly, because people were sick of the big oaky and they wanted something fresh and zingy.
Oh, how could
so
they do that?
Sauvignon Blanc took over. And it's funny because now, like you said before, there's 6% of our wine is Chardonnay, but believe it or not, that's quite a lot because 77% of what we produce is Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
wow.
Sauvignon Blanc is 3/4 of it and everything else makes up, and then Pinot Noir and then Chardonnay. But so there was this sort of backlash against it and Sauvignon Blanc became so popular. And look, we wouldn't have a wine industry without Sauvignon Blanc, so we can't give out about it. And around the world it's what we're known for. But then Chardonnay went to this other place where people started making it unoaked and very austere, and nobody liked that either, So it's sort of, I think we're sort of in a golden age of Chardonnay at the moment because it's sort of reached this middle point where there's a bit of butter, there's certainly the influence of oak, and you can have that big buttery style if you want it, or you can have something more fruity or more linear.
Yeah.
And certainly in New Zealand, like the range of Chardonnay we have in this country is incredible. Like, even though it's only 6%, it's made everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's pretty rare.
That's what when I read about this. So it's true that Marlborough, Hawke's Bay and Gisborne kind of grow the bulk of Chardonnay?
Certainly Marlborough, because Marlborough is the biggest, it by numbers makes the most, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think Hawke's Bay...
By sheer size.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you think Central Otago Pinot Noir, but actually Marlborough makes more Pinot Noir. But again, it's volume because there's more wineries there per capita.
I should know that.
Yeah.
Visited a few.
Yeah, just one or two.
Yeah.
But obviously, Hawke's Bay is sort of renowned because Hawke's Bay is warmer. And you get those sort of, when you have warmer climate, you sort of get sort of richer fruit and more sort of tropical fruit and sort of a bigger expression.
Yeah.
But you can't forget Auckland, Waiheke Island makes some amazing Chardonnay. Northland, I am always going on about Northland wine. It's teeny tiny.
I've got to say I know nothing about Northland wine.
Well, the Landing in Northland, which is the Landing. So
yes.
they make
where they were.
Yeah, they make that's where they are.
How embarrassing.
Way up the top in the Bay of Islands. But they have a beautiful Landing is stunning, but they've put in a sort of a state-of-the-art new winery up there. And that is one of those, all raised tides, raise all boats sort of thing. It's really helped to, because it was only ever one facility up there for processing wine and that sort of stuff. So it's really helped to elevate it. But the Landing is a fantastic winery. And just keep an eye, if you're a Chardonnay lover, keep an eye on Northland, I always say, because I think,
first.
Yeah, just more and more I'm seeing just really great things, and the quality is sort of improving all the time. And again, it's, warm and tropical up there sort of thing. But Chardonnay, wherever wine, they say wherever grapes grow, Chardonnay grows, and that's around the world.
Oh,
it grows everywhere.
It's like a weed.
It's a bit like it does. It grows.
A weed I love.
It grows. It grows very. It grows very well. So like here, you don't find Sauvignon Blanc generally speaking, it's rare to find it north of Gisborne, and then you don't find other things. Like you would never find Pinot Noir in Northland; it's way too warm. So, but Chardonnay everywhere around the world. If you can grow grapes, you can grow Chardonnay. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously Chardonnay is my thing, but in general, Mary, how is our wine industry in New Zealand? Because, a lot of businesses and a lot of industries are really getting hit hard with rising costs and inflation and
absolutely
everything. It must be hurting the wine industry?
Look, like you said, every industry is hurting, and wine is no different. But there's a sort of a funny thing that they say in wine: if you want to make $1 million in wine, start off with $1 billion, because it is a very expensive endeavor.
Oh, no. My dream of retiring it with a little vineyard on Waiheke Island is dying.
I know.
The more you talk,
I know. Everyone starts with that dream.
Yeah,
they'd be like, wouldn't it be lovely? You're like, it is such hard work. It's not even
to
funny.
open my curtains and have my little vineyard is not going to happen anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, need $1 billion to get $1 million.
To get $1 million, yeah. It's sort of it is an expensive endeavor. It's not. People think and we all do it. Like, wouldn't it be lovely? But it is actually like it's growing things. It's really really hard. Even though you end up with a really nice product, it is really difficult. And I have in the last year, I have not talked to, and I talk to a lot of wineries every day of the week. I have not talked to a single person who has said things are sweet. It really is tough out there. It's tough for everybody. Cost of labor is really tough. Also, I just saw something recently that the cost of couriers and postage is about to go up again. And all of all of those, everything that you need to make something as labor intensive as wine, the cost of everything is going up. So the cost of wine is going up. People don't feel like they can sort of absorb those costs anymore. And it's not just here, because a lot of our wine is exported. We have a really strong export market. So, I'm like, how are things? And everyone are like, oh, well, I think everyone's doing the hard yards at the moment. And the other thing is, you know what it's like. Going to the supermarket these days is anxiety inducing.
Oh my gosh.
So if you're going there and you're realizing, it's no longer, will I buy 1 or 2 bottles of wine? It's like, well, can I buy eggs and cheese? Like it's great. So the thing that drops off the list are the little treats, right?
Yep.
The bottle of wine or the extra treat sort of thing. So if people
I've gone to the clear skins, which we will discuss a little later on if people don't know what that is.
Nasty.
I know. Hey, I brought a cask wine recently too.
You can get some interesting surprises in clear skins. It is it's a bit of a roulette, because it can either be really good or really bad. So the thing about so for people who don't know what clear skins is,
what's a clear skin?
A clear skin is a bottle of wine with essentially no label on it.
Yes,
it has no
it's normally right down the bottom.
It's way down.
They try and push it to the back. It's only $8.99, so I grab one.
So it's either terrible wine that people couldn't sell, or here's the silver lining.
Yes,
sometimes it's people had too much of a wine.
So a winery's gone, whoops, we've got too much.
Or an export order has been cancelled and they just need to get rid of it because it's not going to hang around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can be, it's a bit of a crapshoot. But,
Is there any tips that would you know? There's no way of knowing, is there?
No, you don't, because the reason people will sell it in bulk, in clear skin.
Yep.
And you would never put it, like, they don't put their label on it, because to sell it at such a cheap price would be really damaging to their label. And if the wine is terrible, it would also be really damaging to their brand.
Right.
So that's why they clear skin it. And like, clear skinning happens everywhere. Like if you go into a big supermarket, it doesn't really happen as much here, but you certainly see it in the UK and Ireland and Europe. So if you go into like a Tesco, so a massive supermarket, they'll buy the wine on clear skins and put a Tesco label on it, like Tesco Beaujolais or Tesco Chardonnay.
So they make it their own
So they make it their own, yeah. So they'll do bulk deals for things and then they'll sell it